Record.
Mhm.
Hello. It's Sam Galloway and Amanda Hanna here again, talking about nervous system regulation and autistic perimenopause and neurodivergent menopause. And this time we're going to talk about how to manage chronic pain flares and reduce recovery times.
Yes, please.
Help
More
me,
of
please.
that. Right. Make it better. Oh, chronic pain is, and like the flares, the
Mm,
moments of neutralness where you're like, oh, are we done? And then it comes back, and it's such a thing to live with and through. And something that I've been really looking at, a really incredible resource for chronic pain, movement, and the like. Her name is Addie D. Hilster, and
mhm.
her move to meditate is like she works a lot with chronic pain. So a lot of what I've learned comes from the work that she does. She's so
Wonderful.
incredible.
Mm,
And she talks about this like what it means to re-relate nervous system and the space between how brain interprets the receptors or the signals of pain and how we can like work with that experience. So how does the nervous system get to know what is painful, what is uncomfortable, what's tension versus tightness? Like it's that kind of space of curiosity,
mm,
which sounds so overwhelming when you think about chronic pain and trying to be present to it. So, something that she brings forward and in other spaces and nervous system somatic work is this concept of pendulating. So, you
mm,
pendulate like the swinging of a pendulum. If you can find somewhere in your body that feels neutral, like the tip of your finger, maybe the your earlobe,
mm,
nothing big or exaggerated, just a space in body where there's almost a nothingness. And if we get to know that space of nothingness, so let's say it's the earlobe, and you either connect with it physically or maybe you sense into it if that's a capacity there. And then we think about how do I relate to the nothingness? And then can I move a little bit closer to where that discomfort or pain is? You might not go
mhm,
straight into it. It might just be a moment of like edge towards and be like, "Ooh, okay, here's what I feel." And then back to the neutral place.
mhm,
And then when we can be with the neutral place again, this signals to the nervous system this pain experience is not whole body. This pain experience is actually located in either a small region or maybe it's still a big region, but it's not everywhere.
mm,
And so being with that neutralness can help remind nervous system and brain, this isn't all of us.
mhm,
There are places where we're easeful or more 1% more comfortable even. And then over time, as we move between the two, what people have started to kind of find, or some of the research is showing, is that the space of neutralness starts to tone down some of the spaces of pain because it re-relates the signaling between brain and body. So that's one practice is the neutral, edge towards it, and then come back to neutral. And you can do it as many or as few times as you'd like. Like all of this work is very much getting to know yourself and your own
mm.
kind of flavors of how do I relate to this thing? What does this mean for me? And the other thing that they've been kind of working with or looking at is the experiences of like the opposite. So if I'm having pain that feels really hot and sharp, can I hold something that feels cold and give that body the experience of focusing somewhere else? Like if my leg is experiencing something, can my hand do something different? So trying to find somewhere away from the body or part of the body that's experiencing the chronic pain
Mhm.
and giving it a different sensation to experience. Or if somewhere feels numb, can I put somewhere else in warm water? So
Mm.
it's like this opposites happening in the body to again recalibrate or renegotiate that conversation between brain and body.
So you're
And then
offering a
doing,
contrast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then body's like, oh, it's possible to experience something other than this pain.
Mm.
We have the capacity and capability to experience this.
Yeah.
This is not our only existence, or this
Mm.
experience isn't all of us.
Yeah. Yeah,
And it
that
can
makes sense,
start.
especially if especially if we know when certain pains may occur, because sometimes it's quite predictable, even though you dread
Yeah.
it, but you know, like I know that if I go sit on the sofa, my hip will start to hurt and my shoulder will start to hurt. So I make sure I've got a heat pad by the sofa at all times. And then when
Yes.
I remember to, so that's just an electronic one, so I can change
Mhm.
the temperature.
Yeah.
And then I've
Yes.
also got a wheat pack that I put in the microwave, so then I can, have heat in different areas, and
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
and like bolster my hip up with a cushion,
Yeah.
So I guess then if you know what will hurt where and when, you can
Yeah.
plan around it
Yep.
too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And getting to know those parts of ourselves is the planning. Like,
Mm,
it's almost like, quote unquote, well enough me sets up future
mm,
stressed out or future pain me.
mm,
So in those moments when you can reflect and be like, okay, it typically happens when I'm on the couch. It's this bit and this bit. How can I love that up during, before, during, and after, and kind of
mm,
meet it where it's at? And then in those other moments, it's like, okay, how does cold feel? What does that do for my body? And then kind of, again, research from the inside out almost, where you're like, let's experiment here. Let's see what happens. And then soaking up those moments of the neutral or kind of less, the 1% less.
mm,
If you come to that part in your shoulder, let's say, and you can say, okay, where does it hurt the most? Is there anywhere in this area that hurts a little bit less? And can I focus there? How does that feel? And then let that kind of pendulating thing happen from there. And then when
mm.
you go back to it, has it changed how your brain perceives that experience?
Yeah, that's really interesting because the
Mhm.
interoception differences with neurodivergent people as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah,
We need to, it needs to be very explicit. We might not associate feelings with it, like that hurts. So, I'm feeling
exactly.
depressed or I'm feeling upset or,
Yeah.
despairing or anything. But it might be like, that doesn't feel right. I
Something
recently
here
put
is
my shoulder
happening.
out. Yeah, I put my shoulder out when I was doing thrusters with my personal trainer a couple of weeks ago, and I have had to stop personal training, unfortunately. And then I realized, oh, that shoulder's there's always been something wrong with that shoulder. And then I thought, why was that? And then I realized that I'm likely hypermobile, so I've been trying to find out about Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and things. So that there's all these pinballs that go off. But if I were
Exactly.
to just focus on the pain, like I could go see a physio and but
Yeah,
it's never going to help me stabilize the shoulder because
exactly.
they won't necessarily diagnose what the origin, like the root cause is. But a lot of us are able to figure that out for ourselves.
Yeah. You're like, that happened at
Yeah.
that time. Here I
Yeah. Yeah.
am.
Yeah. So it's really
Yeah.
interesting. So then I've been learning about coat hanger pain. So this shoulder hurts. Um, but then I learned about coat hanger pain, which is this whole region,
Yeah.
um, and how. So yeah, you try and strengthen the both sides. Sorry, I'm squeezing
Yes,
this.
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
trying to balance things out as well and doing that
Yeah.
stuff when it doesn't hurt as well, because although
Yes.
pain can be chronic, it might not be constant.
Yeah.
So it might recur a lot, and then doing what we can for
Yeah.
ourselves when we can.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's
Mm.
like, it's also getting to know those moments where, because I don't know if you're anything like me, where you have the
Mhm.
moments where you're like, okay, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm now going to go make the absolute most out of life and get everything out of it while I still can.
Yeah.
Then it's like, and then I either rebound or have an episode or a flare, and you're
Mm.
like, ah. So it's also like, how do I pace myself in ways
Mm.
that don't limit me? Like, we don't want to slow us down or change how we move through the world.
Mhm.
It's more of a, how do I get to know my rhythm and
Mm.
work with my rhythm? And
Yeah.
that might be getting to know the pattern of pain flare up, because it's like you said, it might be chronic, but not 100% constant all of the time.
Mm.
So in those moments of being well, it's like, how do I love up that balance so that over time, those episodes or experiences might even decrease 1%. And you're like,
Hmm.
oh, 1% can feel like a game changer. So you're
Yeah.
like, oh, here I am. We did it.
Yeah.
And I think those soothing things are also like having that heat pack there, thousand
Mm.
percent, where you're just like, even if that pain isn't all on right now,
Hmm.
this feels nice.
Yeah.
And then nervous system can be like, oh, that's what it feels like to feel nice.
Mm.
We can start to bring that in a bit more because the
Hmm.
brain is so much more prone to the remembering and the kind of hyper focus on details of the not so good moments or the painful moments.
Yeah.
Because brain's like, I never want you to experience this again.
Hmm.
Let's remember it. Now we can move forward. So those moments of feeling well are really important to be in and with so that
Mm.
those hormones get a chance to really sink in.
Hmm.
Because if we just like kind of rush through the good, being like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, I'm good, so I can do everything,
Hmm.
we have to be present with the good so
Yeah.
that it kind of imprints more into the nervous system.
Mm.
So
And when
that's
you say
slow.
those, yeah, sorry, when you say those hormones, which ones do you mean? Because when I'm thinking about hormones, it's always testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, but I should think
Yes.
you're thinking about others. And sorry, I should have introduced Layla at the beginning, your puppy behind us.
Yeah, might be a little wagging tail
So
every now
cute.
and then,
Yeah.
but she's here, there, and everywhere,
Oh,
living
lovely.
her fluffy life. Yeah, hormones meaning at the time, so because there's hundreds of hormones coursing
Mm.
through the body at any
Mhm.
given moment. And hormones are really like hormone basically equals action or behavior. We
Mhm.
have a hormone flush through that dictates what the next step is. So in those kind of quote unquote good moments, that might be the moment where dopamine is a bit more balanced or serotonin and even like oxytocin, acetylcholine are feeling a bit more balanced. So in that moment, when I'm like, oh, I feel quote unquote good enough, like this is a good enough moment, that kind of presence with it, or being like, how does it actually feel to be good
Mm.
enough? That's what's helping those hormones sink in more. Whereas the body gets very used to attaching to the adrenaline or the cortisol or the things that stay in body to get us through those stressful times,
Mhm.
less likely to imprint or create that ongoing pattern of the soothing or regulating ones. And like there's going to be difference between hormones and neurotransmitters and the like, but for our purposes, I'm just
Mm.
going to call them all one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's and like some of those hormones, because of that patterning in body, it will create this almost like default pattern
Mm.
where pain can actually persist or the perception of pain in the nervous system, even when there isn't actually a pain signal happening in body,
Mhm.
because it's become immune or it's become so attuned to that feeling, it's almost become a pattern or a behavior and imprinted in that way. So
Mm.
that's where that pendulating can work to re-navigate that thought feel cycle. There's so
Yeah.
much in this one.
Like a recalibration.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Hmm.
amazing. Oh, maybe if
Yeah.
you've got time another day, we could come back and spend a bit more time on that.
We could
If
talk
you'd
about
like
this
to. Yeah.
7,000 hours.
Yeah. Awesome. I'll plug in the heat pad in time before
Yeah.
before we start. Okay. Thank you. Shall we leave that one there?
Perfect.
Okay. Thank you for covering
Uh,
that, and I
Thank
will
you.
see you at the next one.